All right. So I've got an incredible mobile marketing platform to share with you today. Our company is called Socialize. But before I dive into the solution, let's kind of frame the problem here. So I think we all get that mobile is an important distribution channel, but the reality is that this device is my digital persona. This is my connection to the world. This is not a second screen. This is the brains of how I connect to everything digital. And the reality is that companies that understand how to engage me and connect with me through this device are going to win over companies that don't. And so let's look into what that means. What does engaging me mean? Well, here's the funnel about how a company like Turner might want to engage a user. First, you have to get downloads. If you don't have downloads, if you don't have your app on the user's device, you're at zero. But it gets a little worse than that. In order to actually go down the funnel here, you need engagement. You need the user to actually open that app. And how many apps do we all have on our phones that we never open? Engagement is already a problem today, but guess what? It's going to get a lot worse. Mobile downloads are skyrocketing from 2 billion in 2008 to 98 billion in just a couple of years. There's going to be a lot more noise and a lot more companies understanding that they have to engage users through this mobile channel. And then, even if you get the user to start using the app, you have to have intelligence about those users. There's no third-party data in mobile apps. There's no cookies. It's very hard to know about these users in mobile. So to be able to monetize, you need to successfully complete all of these steps. That's the problem. We've created drop-in social infrastructure that can make any piece of content social. Now, what I mean by that is, think about what Instagram did as an app. They allowed users to take social actions around photos. What Instagram did as an app, we are offering as a platform. We are allowing a publisher to make any piece of content social. So a user can comment, like, and share any piece of content so that the publisher can easily access the Open Graph. The way that we've done it is through a social API. Now this allows content on any IP-connected device to be made social. And by that I mean a Roku box, a computer browser, a gaming console. But we've specifically started with mobile, with open source iOS and Android SDKs, so that it's very easy to just drop Socialize into an app and make it social. Now, let me go into a bit of detail here. The first step is to drive engagement by making the app social. Now, I'm talking about the interest graph. I'm not talking about the social graph. I'm saying, imagine, you guys, we're all users of one app. We've all downloaded the same app. Now, I want you to do a little experiment with me. Cover your mouths. Come on. This is what it's like to be a user inside of the app. You too, guys. Cover your mouth. Okay. You can't talk to any of the other users in the app, but it gets worse. Cover your eyes. You don't even know who the other users of the app are. We've all downloaded an app. We're not all friends. We'll never all be friends. But we have one common interest, which is the content of that app. And Socialize allows us to turn the lights on inside the app and make the content of that app social. So that's step number one, and that really boosts engagement. Step number two is to propagate those social actions out to Facebook, out to Twitter. But importantly, philosophically, social doesn't start with Facebook. It starts with your content and your users. You should own social. Giving social to a platform like that is like IBM giving up the operating system to Microsoft in the 80s. It's a big mistake. And step number three is to then be able to get intelligence about users through those social actions. So let me show you how the system works with actual examples. Now, where's Scott? Scott, okay, so Scott, you are the VP of Technology for Turner Sports. Let's just take, I don't know, the NCAA app, for example. Now, in the NCAA app, we'll pick a college team, maybe Oklahoma. Do fans of Oklahoma, are they passionate fans?
They are passionate.
And can they talk to each other today inside the NCAA app?
They cannot.
Do they even know who the other Oklahoma fans are?
No, they don't.
This sounds like a really big problem. Luckily, we have a solution for you, Scott. In fact, Scott's been our mentor. He's been fantastic. So what we did is we literally in hours, not days, not weeks, in hours, we dropped Socialize into the NCAA app. We are prototyping with this app. A couple of us have it on our phones. The founders do, Scott does, a few others have it on their phones. You can actually see it live and working today. So we made this piece of content social. Now, everybody who has commented around this piece of content or interacted with it, they're not friends, but they all care about that piece of content. That's what binds them together. Let's take another example, CNN Money. So Margaret, you are the senior product director for CNN Money, and you have a very sophisticated audience, a very sophisticated user base, right? And wouldn't you say that if they could interact with each other around your content, that they would come to the app more to use the app? Well, that's great to hear, because also we've prototyped Socialize with CNN Money. So you can see here that they're not using the bar. They're using a button. So here, we're making these pieces of content social with a button instead of a bar. But not only that, we've also defined with Socialize, every stock is what we call an entity, a piece of content that we're making social. So now users can start socializing around different stocks. And in fact, Socialize is very flexible. So for example, in an app, each photo could be social. This is being powered by Socialize. This is a joke app where we've made each joke social. You can see that they're using their own custom icons. People are socializing around the jokes. In this True TV, world's dumbest app, which is an awesome app, recommend that you check it out, they've made each article social. And the experience for the user is to be able to have these interactions with other users, to be able to subscribe for notifications so that if somebody else takes a social action, I get a push notification letting me know that I should go back to the app to see what they wrote. Also, when I take an action, I'm taking it inside of the app, but I can extend that out to Facebook. I can extend that out to Twitter. So in this way, we're wrapping social around the content, around the publisher's content, with the users who are not friends, but all want to socialize around content. And then when I do take this social action, and it does go out to Facebook, we create a unique tracking link so that my social action around a specific piece of content creates a web page. If I were to click on this tweet as somebody who doesn't have the app, this is what we call our smart download system. This allows somebody who doesn't have the app to see what this user said, different ways to download the app, other users that also have the app. So whereas today there's no way to even have a conversation inside of apps, what we're doing is we're tying the mobile and the web worlds together. So on a desktop browser, I can discover these apps, and we're using the users as the passionate marketers to drive downloads, to drive engagement, but also to drive intelligence. So here is what our app intelligence dashboard looks like from Turner's perspective. Now, as the publisher, I can start learning about the actions that are being taken in the app. I can start learning about these users. I can see who are the most active users, and I can click on a specific user, and I can see Socialize has scored this user so that I know as the publisher how valuable this user is as compared to all the other users. This is not something that you can do today inside of mobile apps. And not only that, but I'm able to start micro-targeting specific users. So this user, Daniel, very valuable user inside the CNN Money app. As the publisher, I can send him a micro-targeted push notification. We call it a smart alert. Or maybe I want to send it to the most valuable users in the app. Or maybe I want to send it to the users that haven't engaged recently, or those that are in a certain location, or those that are the least active. I can micro-target, and because we built this programmatically, it's powered by a partner API, nobody has to log in to do this. We can create rule sets so that it happens automatically. So this is awesome. This is really, really cool. And in terms of pricing, we have different tiers of pricing. I'm happy to say that Turner is going to be our first enterprise client, so thank you, Media Camp. Thank you, Turner, for that. It's very exciting for us. We have seen a lot of growth. So we're growing 50% monthly in terms of unique users. Over 465 apps that are live on Socialize already. Guys, there's no vaporware here. Okay, this is live in the market today, and it's working. You can drop Socialize into these apps today.
So basically, why does Facebook work? Why does Instagram work? Why does Social Cam work? Why do all these things work? Because the network effect drives those experiences to content, and we're a platform to help that.
And I've just been demoing some of the things that Sean is talking about. You saw that I shared, or I liked a piece of content inside the CNN Money app. Here is the Facebook wall post of my like. That opens up to a page that has tracking information so that CNN Money can tie it back to me. Not all users are created equal. Some users are more valuable than others. We want the publisher to understand who are the influencers inside of their app. How do they get a high ROI by marketing to those people? And then, like Sean said, we know that the user already has the app. We allow, through the web, the user to deep link right back into the piece of content. So these are things that are very difficult to do that we've figured out how to do, and that's part of this loop where we drive the monetization through those download engagement and intelligence pieces. Other questions?
Can you be a little more specific about the insights that I as a brand have about the users who have downloaded my app? And also, can you tell us about how this is only available through you guys? And can you also tell me a little bit more specifically about how I can target, how I can segment and then target all the myriad ways that we can do that? I happen to know the answer to both those questions, but you're welcome.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Okay. You want to show? So we have a socialized score, which ranks people against other users in the app. So out of a possible 100, based on how many action you've taken, how many things you viewed, when was the last time you viewed it, things that you've commented on, things that you liked, your participation level. We take all those pieces of information and make a score relative benchmark against your other users. So you can say, my #1 user has a score of 67 compared to my 10th user with a score of 50. So that's one. We also let you order things by and target people by specific actions. So I want to see my chatters. I want to see the people who are voyeurs that aren't participating yet. So getting into those abilities to drill down based on those touch points and how they interact is the way that you find the whales that are involved, or whales for your specific mission. The micro-targeting that he talked about, like smart alerts, is the way to actually target them. So you can take the group of the 50 people or the 100 people that are your top 10% scoring people or the top 10% viewers and say, I'm going to have an article that they all loved the article we showed last week. So MTV VJs, where are they now? That's a great story. People love that. Well, I'm going to do another. It went so well I couldn't believe it. I'm going to tell that same story in a different way 2 weeks from now. I want to make sure those people who loved that article and commented on it are notified of the new thing. So we target people who talked about this entity. Let's send a smart alert and say, hey, you like the VJ stuff? Let me tell you about the VJs that are coming out next season. Target them. They click it, it opens the app to the VJ section. So it's that you have to really think of Socialize as a complete cycle that starts with some piece of content, hits people, asks them to come back, takes them the right piece of content, and have those people create new actions to create that loop starting over. So,
and by the way, this is a really big deal to big publishers that have millions of downloads and are starting to feel like they're spamming their users by sending a push out to all the entire user base. So with micro-targeting, we put context around push.